Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mom Mode. This week, we have Gabby on the podcast. You may know her on social media as Gabby the Singing Mom. Um, that's how I came across your profile, Gabby, and I'm just so excited to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm Gabby. I am also known as Gabby the Singing Mom. You might know me from singing on the countertops or in my kitchen to my daughter Ella. Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and we are basically just figuring it out over here, along with singing and intentional motherhood, all the things.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely came across your videos and I was like, wait, I love this because it's just so sweet to see the way that your daughter interacts with you when you're singing.
Yeah, and I feel like it's grown over time. Like, I feel like my page has grown so much just with, like, her different reactions. Like, I started with her basically some people might even remember this, but, just a few months ago when she was still pretty little, I had her most of the time just sitting in one of those little hook-on chairs on my countertop, and I would sit next to her and just sing, like, Disney songs. Um, and her reactions to that was the funniest and the cutest things ever. And, over time, your baby grows up and she doesn't want to sit like that anymore. And maybe that's just not what she wants to do. So we had to like mix it up. And yeah, so now it's kind of us in the kitchen a lot, me singing to her. But also, I feel like a lot of my content has included me just being like an intentional mom and like being present with her and including her in a lot of like the day to day just because it makes such a difference and it just allows me to connect with her and she feels good about it. I honestly feel like there's been fewer meltdowns because of it. But yeah, that's our life right now.
I love that. How old is Ella?
She is she's gonna be actually 15 months on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like it's so funny when they say like why some people will ask like I feel like older people, why do you count their age in months? And it's like it changes so much from each month.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I was probably one of those people back in the day who was like, oh goodness, they're one. But no, it makes a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. Since becoming a mom, so or maybe we'll go further back. Before becoming a mom, what what was what was your life like?
Yeah, so I always say this is kind of funny because I was never the person who wanted kids. Like, I was not ever the person that was like, "Oh my gosh, like I was born to be a mom," or like, "I can't wait to be a mom." And I never really pictured myself being a mom. So eventually, it just got to the point where it happened, and I was like, "All right, well, now I have to figure out what this journey is going to look like for me." I have no idea. This wasn't really what I pictured, but here we are. And I I was a speech therapist. I've been a speech therapist for let's see, almost or 7 years, possibly something like that, and always worked full time in like medical settings. So I'm primarily a medical speech therapist. Worked with adults, and that was my life. That was my day to day. I did that. I have a husband who I've been with since we were in 10th grade, and I've known him since, like,
Wow.
middle school, so he's just always been with me on this journey, but, yeah, that was my life, and we had Ella, and I feel like you don't ever really know what you're going to do with your child and, like, with childcare and things like that until you're actually put in the situation. Because like, everyone's like, "What are you gonna put her in daycare? What are you gonna do when it comes to that?" And, once I had her, I feel like my whole mindset shifted, and I became that mom that was like, "Oh, no," like, I feel like I can't trust anyone, like, I have, like, this, like, mama bear mentality, like, I don't know if I can put her in a daycare, like, I wanna be the one that's watching her, and so, I remember I was, like, so anxious about going back to work after my maternity leave, um, and so I went back part-time, and it was not good for me. I had, like, a friend watching her, and that was fine, but I wanted to be the one there and watching her and taking care of her, and so eventually I just I quit that job and eventually took on a part-time, like, teletherapy school job position where I could, take care of her during the day, and then when my husband got home, he could watch her, and so it just, like, all worked out. But recently, I stopped that job, so I've been, like, full-time stay-at-home mom, but I feel like I've been a full-time stay-at-home mom since, like, forever, so I feel like it's never really stopped. But with that, being a stay-at-home mom, I love it. Truly, I love it so much. I'm so grateful that I can even do it, but sometimes it can just get so isolating. Like, I remember
Mm.
so many times, especially in the beginning, I felt so alone and like I lost all my friends, and like I didn't have a social life anymore, or I loved going to Pilates. I feel like I wasn't doing that anymore. And I just got to the point where I was like, what? I love being a mom, but what brings me joy? And one thing that I always run to when I'm working through things, or like when I'm feeling happy or feeling depressed or whatever, is like singing. Like, I'll just like sit down and just sing some of my favorite songs, and that's one way I can like reconnect to myself. And I started doing that, and I would do that with Ella, and eventually, like, a thought popped in my head, and I was like, "Is this God talking to me?" But it was like, "You need to go on social media, and you need to start expressing yourself. You need to start singing." I know, like, this isn't something that you are used to doing, like, so I've always had social media accounts, but, like, I never posted on them really. I had, like, 5 posts, a couple hundred followers, like, that's so out of my comfort zone. It's such, like, a vulnerable thing to do to, like, put yourself out there on social media,
Mhm.
but I did it, and I started out on TikTok and, started posting my singing videos, and some of them with Ella, and they just started popping off, and I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting," but I had fun with it because, number 1, it was a creative outlet for me. It was a way for
Mhm.
me to kind of reconnect to myself, and I guess just a way to, maybe possibly find connection with other people, maybe other moms. That wasn't necessarily my goal in the very beginning, but it eventually became my goal. But yeah, so I just that was it, because once you're no longer working your full-time job, like, I was around people all the time. I saw patients all day long. And then once you go from that to just being home with your baby who cannot talk back to you, and
Mhm.
you're in just different seasons of life than maybe your friends are, or yeah, it became really hard. So that was sort of my bridge to finding myself again. And for that whole period of time, I just felt like I was abandoning myself and not taking care of myself. Like, there got to a point where I wasn't working out anymore. I wasn't getting ready for the day. And I know how important that is for people, even if you're just staying at home. So yeah, it's been this entire journey of rediscovering myself, maybe just finding a new version of myself, really embracing this journey of mine of motherhood, and just growing with it, because it's been definitely different seasons every
Mhm.
month. I feel like it's a different season. I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I know that was kind of a lot, but that's kind of been my journey, I feel like, up until now.
No, I love hearing all of that, and I can definitely relate. Yeah, I feel like something that's not talked about enough is how we go from being these independent individuals, working our jobs, and like you said, like, being social, like, seeing people, talking to them. In your job, I'm sure you did that a lot. And
Yeah.
so going from that to being home, it's like the happiest but most isolating time.
Yes.
And especially when they can't talk to you. It does get easier when they can start communicating
No.
with you. I will is Ella talking yet?
She will say, like, little words here and there, and her favorite word right now is, like, "chi." Everything is "chi." But and she'll say, like, "Up." everything is like up, and then she'll say it for different things. Like if she wants more, now she's using up, and I'm like, Ella, up means up. I know, like she's
Yeah.
trying to use it just because she's like, oh, that's how I can communicate.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's getting there. She's getting there. She's funny.
And it definitely changes it so much when you can talk to them
Yeah.
and then you're like going outside with them and you're like, let's go for a walk. And you like don't feel like you're just talking, to yourself. Because I used to go on
Exactly.
like walks with her when she was younger. My daughter's two
Yeah.
and a half now. And I'd be like, wow, isn't it so pretty out? And like I'm like, I'm talking to her, but like she can't respond back.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
that
you
was
start to
so good
feel
that you did
better.
that. Yeah.
You will feel better when she can really start communicating with you. But I love that you started posting and like it could have been God, I mean, for different reasons, for you to, come out of your shell and help other moms, because there's such a mom community on different social media platforms. And it's helped me personally. I mean, that's why I created, I say this on multiple of my podcasts. That's why I created Mom Mode was to not feel alone. And like I wanted to talk to other moms. And one of the most common things that I hear is I felt so alone. Like
Yeah.
almost every mom that I've talked to in the beginning, right? Because it is such
Yeah.
a huge, I think the way you put it is perfect. Like it's a new version of you. Like, it's
Mhm.
not that you're different. It's not finding yourself again because you can't
Yeah.
find someone you don't know. Um,
Right.
so it's just this new version.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It is, and I truly just feel like a it's just such a season. You're just going through these different seasons of motherhood, and every day just looks so different, and you're just growing into different versions of yourself, ultimately, hopefully becoming the best version of yourself. Like, I feel like the current version of myself, I have grown so much in so many ways. Like, do I feel like I'm, where I want to be? No. But I'm learning so many things about myself in the process, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But yeah, and like you were mentioning about with social media and like finding other moms, that's kind of why I had like a slight shift to my content, is because I also wanted to talk to moms. Like my initial content with just singing, that was great in that little season of me wanting to find joy again and do something that I love again and just like put it out there. But that wasn't necessarily that audience that I wanted in that very beginning. And now it's growing into more of the audience that I want. And I'm meeting so many other moms. And it's definitely helping me not feel so alone. And like truly, I mean, we're not alone, but it's just like
Hmm.
we kind of like feel like we're alone because like we're in these four walls of our house maybe, and we're like, oh, it's just
Yes.
like so many other moms are going through the exact same thing. And so being on social media has really helped that for me.
Yeah, I was going to say it's wild because we're all doing the same thing during the day,
Yeah.
right? Most of
Yeah.
us. I mean, if you have a toddler at home, like you're waking up, they at the crack of dawn, like they are up, they are energized, they are ready
Yeah.
to hit the day, then the nap schedule, then, eating breakfast, nap, playing, like we're all doing the same thing. But like you said, it's in different homes. So like, and I feel like too, like until they hit probably, I mean, because my daughter still naps at 2.5. I think they stop napping at like 3,
Really?
4, somewhere in
It's
there. Every
long.
kid's probably different, but you're kind of then constrained by the nap schedule. So it's
Yes.
like so many times I have other mom friends and their kids are a little younger. And so they're on like a 2 nap and I'm on a 1 nap. And so they're at different times. And I'm like, you want to get together, but then it's just so hard because, you're like, okay, well, I can do that, but then my daughter's not going to take a proper nap and the day is going to be a little more challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so
Happens
I
with
think
me.
that's what makes it hard too.
Yeah. Like I have there is a girl who I met who I think her son is a few months younger than Ella. And in the beginning when we were trying to get together, it's the exact same issue that we were having was we were on different nap schedules, or maybe Ella was only on one. And I was like, oh, I don't know how that would work. And you're like 30 minutes away. I just don't. It's just it's a little frustrating with the nap stuff. But
Yeah.
as they
And
get
every kid's
older,
different.
yeah, exactly.
'Cause my
Right.
daughter does not she only will nap
Mhm.
in her crib. Um,
Yeah, same
and that
with
was
mine.
hard. That was
Yeah,
really hard for me, especially in the beginning when they take, what, 3 naps a day?
I
I'm
know.
like
I don't even remember.
and I did Pilates. I stopped doing it
Yeah,
now, but I was like, "Okay, put her down for a nap." My husband works from home, so I'm like, "Okay, she's napping. Here's the monitor. Drive to Pilates, do a Pilates class, drive home. She's up." And I'm
yeah,
like but I was like, "Okay, this is actually exhausting," because I'm, like, rushing to Pilates, hoping the Pilates doesn't start late,
yeah,
getting in the car, rushing home to then, like, be on for my daughter. And so you just
yeah,
start to learn what works and what doesn't. Because now I try to make it I used to, like, fill her nap times with grocery store runs, trying to work out.
yeah,
And now I'm like, that doesn't really work. Sometimes I'll
yeah,
podcast, which is enjoyable. I'm home, I'm having a conversation with a mom. It's like having coffee in my
mm,
mind. Um,
right.
but I'm like, I don't know how you are, but I'm like, I need to just do something that like relaxes my mind. So I'll take
Yeah,
my dogs for a walk or I'll go and walk on my treadmill because it's cold where we live. But I used to try
mhm,
to fit so much in her naps. And then I was like exhausting myself because I'm like, I'm never stopping. I'm
right.
just on all the time.
Exactly, you're never turning it off, and that's exactly something that I've learned too, and something that I wasn't doing very well in the beginning, like, when I said I was abandoning myself, I was not taking care of myself or, like I say, filling my cup, and now I'm trying to find times to actually fill my cup, and that could be like, I know I said something about it yesterday on my stories, I said, like, "Sometimes it's okay to just sit on the couch. That is filling your cup if that's what you need in that moment. Other times you might be like, you know what? I want to clean my bathroom and that'll
Mm-hmm.
fill my cup. And that's something that will make you maybe feel like less cluttered in your mind. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
do that. But like other times it's okay to sit on your couch for the entire time your baby naps. It's fine. And so many of us are like, we think that we have to just fill that time with and be productive and get it done because when else are we going to do it? But like at the end of the day, is that really going to help you? Or is it just going to make
Yeah.
you feel more exhausted? So
That's
I'm
what I
still
was
trying to
finding.
figure that out myself.
No, but that's such a good point. Like I love this conversation right now because I'm like, you're right. Like sometimes sitting on the couch is what you need to do. Other
Yeah.
times you might be like, wait, my bathroom's gross. I'm gonna clean it. And then I'll feel so like after I clean my bathroom, I'm like, I feel so good taking a shower because it's just so
Yeah.
clean and refreshing.
Right.
And then your mind isn't, yeah, as clogged. So it
Yeah.
really is just like day to day. You have to go with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like, what do I need right now? I'm trying to work on that and like really be like, what do I need? And if that's like, let me just go out back and sit in the sun for 10 minutes,
yep.
you know, it
That's
doesn't
actually
have to
really
be always,
relaxing. I'll do that.
yeah.
Even now when it's cold out, I'll like put my hat on in my jacket. If it's sunny, I'll go and sit on
Right.
my chairs in the back and I'm like, just the sun feels so good. And just to like
Yeah.
be in peace and have no noise when she's sleeping is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and then you feel so much better. It doesn't have to be vacuuming your whole house and mopping the floors and doing the
Yes,
laundry. Some days, yeah, maybe if that
I
works
would
for you,
agree.
but yeah, I know. That's still something like I said I'm working through cuz still trying to get over that like, oh, I feel so guilty for sitting here, but you know,
Yeah,
working
you
through.
can't. And it's something that, yeah, like you have to work through. And I think it's like talking to other moms about it helps you gauge how they're feeling. And like we're all, I think, feeling the same way. I think we all
Yeah,
have the same thoughts.
I know.
What would you say, like when you had Ella, what was like the most challenging part, do you think, of like bringing her home from the hospital?
Hmm. Well, for one, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and those like intrusive thoughts.
Okay.
And like and like so funny side note, I had a C-section and my blood pressure was, I guess, through the roof. Like I had to be on blood pressure medications and all of these things, which I've
Was this
always had
after birth or before?
after.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the C-section and like immediately after my blood pressure was through the roof. Me being a speech therapist, a medical speech therapist, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I cannot have high blood pressure. Like, this is not good. So, of course, I'm in my head. having anxiety about that. And so it was just a mix of that. Feel like for the whole first month, maybe month and a half, I had lots of anxiety, lots of just
Which it could have
fear.
been the medication too, because did they have
Maybe.
you on blood pressure meds?
Yeah, they had me on blood pressure meds.
Did they, like, characterize that or, like, say that that was something in particular or no?
They called it did they call it postpartum hypertension?
Because I had preeclampsia
Okay, they
at
didn't call it.
37 weeks, and I
Yeah,
had delivered my daughter, and then I got so normally when if you have preeclampsia, you deliver, you're good. That's the typical. But you
yeah.
can get postpartum preeclampsia, which is basically postpartum hypertension where, like, when I went to my doctor, he was like, "Are you feeling okay?" At my first week like, my week checkup because I had a C-section as well, and I'm like, "Yeah, I feel fine. Why?" And he's like, "Your blood pressure is, like, 160 over, like, 90."
Holy
And
cow.
I was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Well, I'm exhausted, like, I'm not sleeping." There's, like, so many different changes that my body just went through, and I had
Yeah,
to be on medication, but I was very, like, very anxiety, mainly
yeah,
because you're bringing home this baby that you've never taken care of, and then you're worried about yourself. So I'm
yeah,
sure that was a big part of what you're
yeah, no,
feeling.
definitely, yeah, because my blood pressure and it wasn't even necessarily the top number was high in the hospital, but it was always the bottom number, like, the bottom one number was, like, 120. So, it was super high, and I, of course, was checking my blood pressure way too much during the day, I'm sure that didn't help it. But
Yep.
yeah, and shortly after, like, my husband, he went back to work maybe 2 days later. So I was home by myself with her. And so, of course, all day long, I'm, like, panicking. I'm taking care of this newborn, figuring out how to be a mom, how to be there for her, and then I'm worrying about myself. What happens if I fall over, have a stroke, and I'm here with my baby? So all of these thoughts are just constantly going through my head, like, "Oh, no, I'm gonna walk down the stairs, I'm gonna drop her." Or what if I'm holding her, I just drop her? I just had the most intrusive thoughts. I just
Yep.
wanted to feel like myself. I felt so on edge all the time. I would, like, sit on the couch and I would realize, like, my friend came over once and was like, "You need to, like, take a few breaths," because I was, like, sitting on my legs, like, up and, like, when you're sitting up, like, I just couldn't relax. It was just a lot, and the whole, like I said, first month and a half, pure anxiety, and it doesn't help that I kinda had some anxiety to begin with. Not like postpartum anxiety, though. I feel like postpartum anxiety is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Um, and eventually, yes, it got better. It got better, and once my blood pressure started leveling out, which was probably 2 months in, I started feeling a little bit better. Yeah, that was a big that was a big issue for me.
Yeah, that's very scary to experience, and I mean,
Yeah.
if you didn't have any health issues prior,
No.
to have that just spring up, it definitely scares you because it scared me when I had, I mean, similar because I had high blood pressure. Obviously, mine was a little different, but I was like, "What do you mean? I've been healthy my whole life. Like, how is
Yeah,
this happening?"
yeah,
And it actually made me really scared to get pregnant again.
yeah.
Um, I was very scared. At first, I was like, I was on blood pressure meds for I think like 2 or 3 months, and like
Mhm.
my doctor was able to slowly get me off of them by lowering the dose, and then I got off, and then I was fine. And then I like watched what I was eating, worked out. I'm like, what can I do to make sure this never happens ever again?
I
Um,
know.
so that was like a big part of my journey too. And then I was just like, are we going to have another baby? Do I want to go through this again? This was very scary. And so
Yeah.
that was a big part of why we waited until my daughter was 2. And then I've come around to it.
Mhm.
I finally was like, no, I want my daughter to have a sibling. Like when she sees other kids playing,
Yeah,
and babies, she's like, baby, and I'm like, I need to give her one. So like she's really like my drive behind having
yeah,
another baby. But
yeah.
it does make you fearful, or just like unsure. I don't know if you've felt that at all. Obviously, Ella's 15 months.
No,
Um,
as you're talking, I feel like I'm in your exact shoes because that's
yeah.
exactly how I feel. Like I think sometimes like I absolutely want Ella to have a sibling. Like she has to have a sibling. But then I
Mhm.
get so afraid thinking about it because then I think, "Oh my gosh, like, will I have another C-section and will the same thing happen? Or what if I don't have a C-section? Will the same thing happen?" And so it's like, I don't want it to happen, and what if it's worse? And so, of course, you think, like, the worst, but maybe it won't happen at all. So what
And
about
that's
that
the
too?
thing because pregnancy is so different that you're
Yeah,
like, I talked to this high risk doctor. I had like a preconception visit because of my preeclampsia. And I was just like, I'm coming to you to basically like ask you, like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you think this is going to happen again? And obviously, doctors won't, they're not going to be like, no. Like,
right,
she's
yeah,
like, there is a chance, but you have done everything you could possibly do. The high blood pressure, I don't know in your case, but like preeclampsia, which is a high blood pressure thing, and the postpartum is very
mhm,
common in first pregnancies.
mm,
Something to ask your doctor.
yeah,
Because sometimes it's your body adjusting to the male antibodies or something. I don't
interesting.
know. I think it's definitely worthwhile like going to see your OB and just talking to them and they'll guide. And then like right now I'm on what is it? Baby aspirin every day.
Okay,
Um that helps keep blood pressure down. So if you're concerned at all about that happening, that's what they did for me. So I'm on low dose or not low dose, baby aspirin one a day and I take my blood pressure and it's been really good. But I'm like, what? It could go high and I could go in and all I keep telling myself is I did it once, I can do it again.
right,
Um and
exactly.
we're so strong and then like I had so many women that I've talked to and they're like some of them have given home births. Um
Well,
And I'm always so amazed by home birth and
definitely.
unmedicated births because I had a C-section as well. And
Mhm.
I'm like, there's no way I could do it. But I'm so amazed and intrigued by their stories. And they're like, our bodies were made to do this. Like, this
Yeah,
is
that's
the
true.
most natural thing our bodies were made to do. And so I don't know if that helps you, but I tend to put that in my mind that, like, we were
Yeah.
made to do this. Our bodies were made to
Yeah,
do this. Our bodies know what to do.
yeah.
And they're not perfect, so little things can happen, but, like, you're healthy. Are you on blood pressure stuff still now?
No, and even when I was pregnant, I never had preeclampsia. It only was immediately
At
after, that was it, and I have heard, like, I don't know how accurate this is, but I've heard sometimes after C-sections, women will see the high blood pressure, C-sections, specifically, so I don't know, but, um and the thing is, I had to have a C-section because she was breech the entire time. So, like,
Wow.
I didn't even have a choice, like, I could have done the I forget what it's called, where they try to flip,
When they flip
but
them.
yeah, but I was, like, just a little bit I was worried about it just because when they would push on her in general, her heart rate kind of got higher, so I was like, "Gosh, can you imagine if they were trying to flip her?" So, I just
Yeah.
was like, I'll just have the C-section, just 'cause I know sometimes it's not fully doesn't fully work and she could always go back. But, yeah, she was breech, so I'm like, "Gosh, I don't know how that would have worked if I had a home birth," and well, I guess I wouldn't have even been able to, but if because
I
it would have
just think
seemed
it's
all
I mean, every birth story is unique.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, when people say that, I'm like, that couldn't be more true. Like,
Yeah, it is so true.
there's not one story that is the same. But that's yeah, I mean, and what did I hear the other day? There's someone that I follow, Sammy Spalter. Do you know who that is? She like is like
Dang,
an owner, I think a co-owner or founder of Form. It's like an athletic company. She's like
possibly. I'm
she's
so bad with
pregnant right
names, so I
now.
probably do, but okay.
Yeah. She's one of my favorite people to follow. She's so positive, and her daughter is breech right now. I think she's
Oh,
like 32
wow.
or 33 weeks, and people always ask her questions, and they're like, "Are you nervous that she's breech?" And she's like, "No, like, obviously, like, she has plans to not have to have a C-section, but she's like, you never know, like, maybe her cord is short and that's the way she has to be, or, you just
True.
never know the reason for why your baby is that positioning." So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think that I would have gone in for that procedure to have the baby
Yeah.
flipped because you just never know what can happen. There
You don't
has to
know.
be risks to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are, and I just was like, "Ugh, I'm not gonna do it." But even when they delivered her, they were like, "We don't really know why she was breech. She just chose to be that way." And I was like, "You know what? Now we're 15 months in, it makes sense."
Yeah, I say that about
He's a
my daughter
stubborn
too.
little
Yeah, it's so funny because Sailor, my daughter, when I they tried to induce me because of my
Mm,
high blood pressure. They were like, "Okay, we need to induce you. You need to deliver." And so what's crazy is too like I wish I would have advocated for myself more, which I feel like is another thing you don't know as like a first time mom of what to do, but like I went in and they were just pumping me with so many different things. I'm like I had a list of medications that, and drugs that were given to me.
yeah.
But they were trying to induce me for like, I don't know, over 30 hours. And I
Wow.
was like, I didn't even get to a one. My doctor was like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "I'm exhausted. Like, what? Like, when can we
Definitely.
just think,
I
like, when can
know.
we talk about alternatives?" And they're
Right.
like, "Well, she looks so good. Like, baby's doing great." And I was like, "Baby's doing great, but I'm not."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm
A
exhausted. And
long
so
time.
I elected to do, a C-section. My doctor and I talked about it. Um, and I was terrified, but it was so quick. So that's all good. C-sections happen so fast. But till this
Yeah.
day, I say the same thing. I'm like, she is a stubborn girl now. She holds her own. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing how, like, their
Yeah.
personalities, I swear, like, the minute they are created in our bodies, they are who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I swear every time I look at her, I'm like, I've said it so many times, "I know why you were breached. This is just who you are." You're like, "I'm not flipping, I'm cozy here. This is where
Yeah.
I'm staying." Yeah.
Um, so when you had to go in for, when you decided that you wanted to do the C-section, like, what were your thoughts? I mean, you said you already, I mean, so did you already have anxiety going into the C-section?
Yeah, so this is kind of a crazy story, maybe not that crazy, but I was supposed to have her on November 13th, and I had a scheduled C-section. It was supposed to be at, like, 1 o'clock, and ended up I ended up being there until 9 PM, still no baby. Because they had so many emergency C-sections they were having to do, they just kept pushing me back and back and back, and I was, like, starving by that point because it
Oh
was
my gosh, yeah.
basically well over 24 hours since I had eaten anything. Things just weren't going well. I was no longer then able to have my doctor, do my C-section. I was like, "You know what?" It got to the point where someone came in and they were like, "This doctor can do it at this time," and I'm like, "Actually, I think I'm gonna just let's move this to the next day. I need to eat something. It's way too late to do it now. Like, I don't
Good
have
for
good feelings
you.
about this." And so I moved it to the next day, went so much smoother, perfectly on time, even earlier. I had my doctor. I went in with way less anxiety, such a smooth process. And I was so glad that I did it, especially because my experience after my C-section was not good. As the medicine was wearing off, I I was, like, feeling so groggy. I wasn't even able to hold Ella probably 4 to 6 hours after until 4 to 6 hours after because I was so my body was constantly shaking, like I was saying, my blood pressure was sky high. I could barely keep my head up. I just was not feeling good. I was feeling sick. So funny, my husband had to, like, do everything. I was like, "You know what? Good job. Proud of you."
Mhm.
But, it was a lot. It was a lot, and so that being my experience, I think that too makes me a little bit nervous for my experience again, because I had such a long process. I remember them telling me I don't know what they told you, but I think recovery was supposed to be maybe 1 to 2 hours after possibly, but mine ended up being, like, 6 hours, just because of so many things going on.
Mhm.
But, yeah, that was my experience with her. So yeah, I don't know. I think I just kind of I think about that and I get nervous about having that again. So,
I get that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've mentioned it to my doctor, and I honestly feel like I wasn't really present in the C-section. So I don't
yeah.
even know how long I was in recovery, if I'm being honest. I was very droggy, um,
Yep.
not with it. Like, I have photos because, like, the nurse I guess went to my husband and was like, "Oh, let me have your phone, I'll take photos." And so thank goodness, because I wouldn't have remembered anything. Like, the only reason
No.
why I even know what I look like or what the surgery room looked like was because these photos. Um,
Yeah.
and it is scary, but I mean, one thing that I definitely know for my next, I needed my doctor. Um,
Mm.
and that is a big part for me. And I don't know, a part of me is like, there's so many moms that are against C-sections, but you have to do what's right for you. And it
Yeah.
is a bigger recovery. It is a major surgery, but I'm like, it is what I know. Um,
Yeah.
and so in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. You can schedule it and schedule early in the morning, and
Yeah.
I can have it with my doctor
Mhm.
and be in and out in like less than an hour. Um, or
Yeah.
I can try to do induction, let myself go into labor, but then like you hear so many things about like vaginal births, like babies getting stuck
Yeah.
or them not traveling through and then having to go through C-section anyways. And so part of me is
Yeah.
like, I've already done C-section, so just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
It's
yeah.
so
I'm
tricky.
I'm right there with you, and I say all this stuff, but, like, if I have another one, I'm gonna have a C-section again just because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and another thing too, like, I feel like I this could have nothing to do with it, but I feel like I don't really have hips. So
Yep.
I feel like it's probably best for me anyhow. I'm worried that if I were to have a vaginal birth that there would be a complication anyhow. So that's just in my head. But I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, I would probably just do a C-section again because yes, my recovery was wonky. It's not ideal, but it was scheduled, like you said, you go in, you have your doctor, you're in and out, there you go. And you
Yep.
know what's gonna happen. So,
And they do it so
um,
often, and there's just
yeah,
but that is wild that, I mean, and maybe if you schedule it the earlier the better. Because see, at 1
yeah,
PM, like when I had my C-section and I was like, my doctor and I was like, okay, well, when would we do the C-section? He was like, right now. He's like, because there's two other girls in labor. I have two others scheduled. So like there's a lot going on at any given
I
time for those
know.
doctors. Um,
Yeah,
I remember being so amazed um at their jobs. Like I'm like, my doctor's super calm. And I'm just like, how are you this calm? Like, and that's why
yeah,
I like adore him, because I'm like,
yeah,
I tend to be more anxiety-ish. I get stressed, I worry. And so for
same.
me to have him as my doctor, like he's very like, this is normal. You're good. You're gonna be good. You're strong. Like he really gives me confidence and assures me that I'm gonna be fine. Um,
Right.
but I think I'll be scared the morning of. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to myself and say like, "Oh, I'm probably gonna be relaxed." Like, no, I'm sure you get shaky still.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
like anything. You're about to meet
Right.
a new life that you brought into the world again.
Yeah. So many
Um,
things.
but yeah, I mean, that's probably the route I would take. He asked me recently, or I asked him, I was like, "So what do you think we'll do? Should I do a C-section?" He was like, "You have your whole pregnancy to figure that out." And I was like, "Well, I want to know now."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "And I need to know that you're not traveling when I'm
Right.
due."
Yeah.
Um,
Available. That's so funny,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like he's probably like, "Oh my gosh, she's back." Um, because yeah, he's great, but I definitely like I feel like I make my presence known, like I'm very
Right.
like, "Yep, got
That's
to get
the
this
thing.
blood drawn, got to do this." I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I always
No,
get so it's so
that's
wild
me
though,
too.
motherhood.
It is, and it's definitely changed me so much. Like, I think you said this earlier kind of, but, like, you're still you, but you're just a different version of you,
It's so
you know?
true. I'm like
Yeah.
that, my husband, gosh, he was like, because I was so serious for a while after becoming a mom because there was
Yeah.
like so much going on. I'm like, okay, like she needs bottles and I breastfed. And then I was like, okay, now we need to do formula. Oh, now purees. And like, can she choke? Like, I don't know. There's like so many things that I would worry about. And
Yep.
he's like, babe, I feel like you're so serious all the time. And I'm like, and I was never a serious person. Like I was always a jokester and little by little that's come back.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, that person's still there, but like, I need to get there. Like, this is
Yeah.
so much that's changed in our lives, and the men, it's not that it hasn't changed for them, but I feel like women as nurturers, like, we just worry in different ways in our, like, very
Definitely.
in our minds. And the intrusive thoughts, I meant to touch upon this when you talked about this. That's like a
Mhm.
real thing. Like, I definitely have that right now.
Yeah.
Mine are weird though. Mine are I think someone's breaking into my house at all times.
Oh, no, I've had that. Every single night, in the middle of the night, I'm checking the baby monitor because I'm afraid someone's coming in to steal her.
I literally do that, and I will
I'm
check.
like,
I had Jordan, we have a Ring doorbell camera. I had him add, like, other cameras to that, like, the back of the house, the front, and, like, at, like, 3 a.m., it shows, like, "Somebody check the cameras." Well, it's me because I think someone is trying to break in, and they're absolutely not. But, yeah, I used to check her monitor. I'm like, "She's
yeah,
snuggled." Everything. Like, I'm like, "What am I thinking?" But that's my intrusive thoughts, is
yeah.
someone's trying to break in. And so, like, if my husband goes out of town for work, I, like, won't take a bath because I don't wanna be, like, in the bathtub with the bathtub water running when she's asleep because I'm like, this is like a scary movie, but, like, not pregnant, not, I would say that went away, like, a year after my daughter was born, 9 months to a year. But, like, when I'm pregnant and in that postpartum phase, I'm like that. And I, like, it
I
bothers
feel
me
like you are
so
me.
much.
I feel like you are me, but the thing is, the difference is that I feel like it's still happening. So we're 15 months in, and so I'm worried about when I'm pregnant again, how it's gonna be. But that's me. Like I'm not even kidding. I feel like, and I don't even say this out loud to people because they're gonna be like, Gabby, what is wrong with you? But like even last night, my husband wasn't home yet, and here I am. I'm in the shower, popping my head out the shower curtain every so often to make sure no one's coming
Yep.
in my house or no one's stealing Ella from her crib. Like, why are we like this? Like,
I have no idea. It has to be like a hormone. It
it
has
has
to
to
be some
be.
kind of hormone because it does go away. It did go away for me. Maybe it was longer than a year, but it did go away. But
Okay.
in the beginning, when she was like newborn, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, I would have the phantom baby cries too. So I'd be in the
Yeah,
shower at night. I shut the
yeah,
water off. I'm like, babe, is she crying? He's like, nope, she's sound asleep. I'm like, why do I hear crying? Like, I would
I
hear
know.
her like screaming over the water, but she wasn't.
Oh my gosh, it's because you hear it and it's just, like, implanted into your brain.
Yep.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is so motherhood and
Just
postpartum
know that
is
it will
so
go away. I don't know when it
that's
will, but
good.
it will quiet. And, don't be scared to get pregnant again. Um, and
Yes,
if
it's
you do
good to
want to
know.
get pregnant, don't let the fear stop you,
I know, and I don't think it will
because
because yeah, like you said, like, I think my want for her to have a sibling is stronger than that, so,
yeah,
yeah,
that's what's really geared me is like
yeah,
every time we see a baby, she's like, a baby, a baby. And like,
so
I see her
cute.
like when we go to the park, like siblings playing with each other, and she's like just standing there looking at them. And I'm like, I
No.
gotta give her a
Oh,
sibling.
sibling. Well, now she's gonna have a little sister.
Yeah, it will be fun. I'm excited.
That
But
will
yeah,
be
I was sitting there thinking on the couch, I'm like, okay, we have to do it all over again. But like we know what we're doing this time around, and
yeah,
just like if you have another like
right.
you're gonna know. But I'm sure
Well,
there's another adjustment, right? Another like version of ourselves that we meet.
yeah. Yeah, and it's true, and maybe this next time around, we won't be so, like, have to have everything perfect, won't be worrying so much because we kind of know that it's gonna be
Yeah,
okay.
100%. Like it is always gonna be okay.
Gonna be okay. Yeah, I know, I'm still trying to adjust with the whole, like, not everything has to be perfect, Gabby, and the funny thing is, like, I like to say I'm a type B mom, like, in so many areas, I'm a type B mom, but there are so many areas that I'm also a type A mom, like, when it came to her schedules and stuff, it really
Oh,
needed to
yeah.
be very on point because it just worked for her and it then worked for me. So I
Yeah.
wanted to keep, like, the peace, so we had to keep it, the way it was working.
I get that, and I would say I'm very much that same way, and
Mhm.
to the point where my in-laws, my own parents, they'd be like, "Gosh, you're so, like, strict with things," or like, like, they would be like,
Yeah.
"You guys like things in a particular way," and I'm like, "Well, that's because that's what works for us, like, we don't expect you
Yes.
guys, if you're ever watching her or giving her a bath, like, to do the exact same thing, it's just
Right.
what works for us, and yeah, when you have them on a schedule, when you have, like you're getting a break. You
Yes.
know that they're going to bed at a certain time, and
Yeah.
you can finally wind down, and I think
Yeah.
that's why I stayed
Yeah.
similar to you, like, on a strict schedule, because then you know what you're getting.
Yeah, and I've realized that I thrive on routine. I have to
Yeah.
have some type of routine, even if it's like, yes, definitely with the baby and the toddler and all that, but like even just like me getting up and doing the same things, I need some form of structure because I didn't for so long. And I think that was a huge reason for why I felt like I was like losing my mind and made everything feel
Yeah.
so much harder because I was just like, I don't have a routine. I don't know what I'm doing from hour to hour, so
Like,
I've learned that about myself.
after leaving your job and then being stay at home, you're saying?
Yes.
Like, you were just
Yes.
like, "What do I do?"
Yeah, because, when you have your full-time job, like, you do the same thing, you don't even realize it. But when you're,
Yeah.
like, a stay-at-home mom, so many things are going on all the time. You have to just figure out something that works for you so that way you can, like, feel sane because for so long, it probably took me I don't know, 10 months for me to actually get into a good routine, and I'm still figuring out routines that work for me right now, but I know I need them. Definitely
Yeah.
need them.
I'm the same way, and I think
Yeah.
our children thrive better with routine as well, like
Yes, 1000% yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it helps them, like, learn, like, repetition helps them learn. I mean, it's like
Yes.
when you're trying to teach them words, you keep saying them, when you're trying to teach them to count, it's they just thrive on that. But
Yeah,
yeah, um,
exactly, and I've embedded so much, I've embedded that so much into our routines too, and me with Ella, I kind of am bringing I know I'm like a medical speech therapist and I've worked with adults most of my life, most of my career, but I have figured out, different things to do with Ella, like I've mentioned before, being more intentional, including her in things, and I feel like most of her, like, growing, I've talked to her constantly.
mhm.
I've told her what we're doing, even if she doesn't react to me, I've talked through what we're doing and doing the same things with mealtime, doing the same things with bath time, with bedtime, all of that, and I've noticed such a huge difference in her language development. And I'll notice that she's doing things independently based off, like she's anticipating things based off of our routine. So that has helped her so much. And even with the singing, like, yeah, the singing seems fun, but really, it's so good for number one, bonding, number two, language development, but then also just like regulation. Because I do a lot of singing. Ella has gotten to the point where she gets pretty fussy at times, or she doesn't handle transitions well. And if I just am singing a song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or whatever, the Itsy Bitsy Spider, she just immediately stops and she just listens. And so
Wow.
I've done it from the very beginning, even when she was a newborn, I would sing her Twinkle Twinkle Little Star every night before bed, and even if she's crying or fussing, and stopped it every single time. I think that's
Wow.
part of why I've always done it, and I think that's why she also loves music and hearing me sing too, because it's just something I've brought her up on since day one.
Yeah, and it's probably really soothing for her. Like, that's
Yeah,
something that really soothes her.
yeah, it's helped so much, and yeah, along with her language development, like the repetition of the songs and, like, having her fill in the blank at the end, like, she really likes that, and it's helped her speech, I think, a lot.
Yeah. And it will. And then what's crazy is like, and I feel like with Sailor being 2.5, Sailor's, a little older than her.
Mhm.
It's amazing, like, as Sailor's learning to talk more, like, the sentences she's putting together are definitely things that she's picked up from, like, me and my husband.
Mhm.
And you're gonna see the same things, I bet, with Ella. Like, things that you
Yeah,
don't
for
even
sure.
realize she's picking up on right now, she just can't say them yet. And as
Yep.
soon as she can, like, you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh," like,
I know. I feel like,
you're gonna
"Whoa."
be like, "Wow, they really listen and watch everything we do." Like, if I cough, my daughter's like, "Are you okay, mommy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am okay."
Oh,
But I remember the first time she said that, I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like,
'cause you
she's
probably
putting
say that to
together,
her.
like, I'm coughing, that am I okay?
Yeah.
Or like when I sneezed the other day, she's like, "Bless you." I'm like, "Thank you, baby."
Oh,
Like, just little things that you don't realize, like, they're
yeah.
picking up on.
And that's
So
probably
it's
the
very
cutest
sweet.
thing to see. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
very
that.
sweet, and I'm excited for you to get to that stage with Ella, like, it's right around the corner. Like, I feel like
I
when Sailor
know.
was, like, well, Sailor started walking at 15 months. Um,
Yeah.
so she was I wouldn't say later, but I would say that is later. Like, some kids walk at, like, 11, 12 months, she was 15, but then, like,
Mhm.
everything just took off. Like, you're just like, and then every day, even now, I'm like, every day I feel like she's doing something different, saying something new.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's even how I feel. Like, yeah, Ella was very quick to, like, the walking and all of that, and at times
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh goodness," her speech I hope her speech isn't behind, and me, of course, being a speech therapist, I'm like, "Ah," but and then all at once it started to, like everything started happening, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Here we go." But every child is just so different but they'll all get there, so
Oh, yeah. I say that all the time. I'm like, there's no child behind. Like, they all have their
yeah,
own times for when they're going to learn to do different things. And one might seem like they're ahead of another. And then that one that you think was behind learns something quicker in a different developmental skill than the other. Um,
so true, yep, yeah,
and you'll just see that. Um, I want to ask you one last question. So, for the
yeah,
moms that are, working moms, nervous for transitioning to, like, stay-at-home mom life. Like, maybe that's
yeah.
their plan or that's their hope. What advice can you give to them?
Yeah, I think I would probably say, find a if you can, find a community of other moms sooner rather than later,
So true.
and continue to do things that make you still feel like you, or maybe things that you were doing while you were a working mom, so that way you don't fully feel like you've lost everything all at once. And not lost, it's a transition, I should say. It's not lost, but because me personally, I felt like all at once I stopped doing everything. I stopped my full-time job. I stopped doing social things. I stopped doing things that made me feel like me. And I could feel that. And
Mhm.
I didn't like myself at that point of time. So I would definitely say if I could go back or next time, making sure that you have a community of moms or people that are there to support you because it's so important. It's so important, and that transition from being that working mom to being stay-at-home is definitely, um, kind of a big transition, I would say, because it's just so different than what you're used to,
I would
but
agree with that. And the mom community is really big because
yeah,
in that community, you're gonna find moms of so many different walks of life that you're gonna be able to relate with one of them, and one of them is gonna be able to just speak to you, or you're gonna be able to speak to them. And I
yeah,
think that's really what it's all about.
definitely, yeah, so important. That community piece is huge, huge.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it was so good having you on the podcast. Thank you so
yeah,
much for everything that you shared.
of
Um,
course, thank you so much for having me.
yeah, it's been such a joy, and I've loved getting to meet you.
Yes, you as well, thank you so much.